Elite performers, from chess grandmasters to Olympic athletes, don't rely purely on brute force effort. Instead, they structure their work around their brain's natural biology. Over the next 5 minutes, we are going to construct a custom hour-by-hour daily schedule from scratch. We will design this exact framework to optimize your neurotransmitters, improve your focus, and actively clear out mental clutter. Before we start, grab a blank daily planner or a piece of paper. I want you to build this framework alongside me. This exercise delivers a biological roadmap engineered to maximize your cognitive output and actively prevent burnout. Let's look at this blank master timeline. Block out your first 90 minutes for morning preparation. You want to start by stepping outside for natural sunlight exposure. Getting light in your eyes early anchors your body clock and signals your brain to release serotonin. Next, add 10 minutes of absolute silence and meditation. Sitting with your thoughts without reacting actually thickens the prefrontal cortex, the logic and reasoning center of your brain, preparing it to handle complex problems later. This early morning quiet period allows your reasoning center to boot up without distraction. Brilliant minds like Nikola Tesla swore by complete silence in the morning to spark their mental clarity. Finally, finish the morning block with a cold shower. Short bursts of cold exposure activate norepinephrine. Think of this as a natural surge of alertness with zero side effects. Notice that we haven't touched a single piece of work yet. This 90-minute sequence is a deliberate biochemical preloading routine. It gives your brain the exact rhythm, light, and chemical precursors it needs to handle the day's demands. Now, let's map out the core of your workday. Look at the 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. window and draw in 2 90-minute work cycles. During these 2 blocks, you commit to a strict digital fast. No phone, no social media, no notifications. The 90-minute duration matches your brain's ultradian rhythms, the natural cycles where your alertness, creativity, and focus naturally peak. Eliminating screens during these peaks tames your dopamine system, removing the constant cravings for distraction so you can sink into deep thought. Between these 2 heavy focus cycles, place a 15-minute break. Take 5 minutes of that break for a curiosity burst. Look up an entirely random, unrelated topic, like how memory actually works or why cats purr. This brief dive into a random subject acts like stretching before a workout. It keeps your brain in a state of learning agility and maintains cognitive flexibility without burning through your mental energy. Structuring your heavy lifting to match your brain's natural peaks and valleys yields immediate returns. You end up getting more high-quality work done by noon than most people manage to drag out over an entire day. As we hit the 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. window, block out time for mindful eating. Keep the screens off and focus on foods rich in omega-3s and antioxidants, like salmon and blueberries, to support the neurotransmitters you just depleted. Immediately after lunch, schedule a 20-minute power nap. Closing your eyes for this short window improves memory consolidation from the morning's work and sharply increases your alertness for the afternoon. Dedicate the remainder of this midday block to real, face-to-face social connection.
Have a coffee with a friend or talk with a coworker with absolutely no agenda. Real conversation releases oxytocin. This chemical acts like emotional WD-40 for your brain, lowering background anxiety, strengthening memory retention, and improving your verbal processing speed. Stepping entirely away from work in the middle of the day doesn't hurt your output. It acts as a required biological pit stop. You are actively replenishing your cognitive fuel to sustain high-level focus for the second half of the day. To transition out of the workday, look at the 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. block. Schedule 5 minutes for the teach-back trick. Pick one new concept you learned today and explain it out loud as if you were teaching it to a child. This is known as the Feynman technique. By forcing your brain to organize and simplify the information in your own words, you move the data from short-term recall into deep internalization. Block out the rest of this evening window for alternating physical movement, mixing light yoga or walking with short strength training sessions. Slow, intentional movement gently stirs the brain's chemicals, releasing BDNF, which acts like Miracle-Gro for your brain cells. Meanwhile, pushing through the resistance of strength training forces mental discipline and releases repairing chemicals like IGF-1. Your workday is over. This afternoon sequence actively shifts your brain away from immediate performance, placing it into a state of structural growth and hardwiring.
Finally, draw a separate box next to your timeline for the 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. window. Treat this specific hour as a mandatory evening wind-down checklist. First on the list, a mental load dump. Grab a notepad and scribble down every uncompleted task, big or small. Psychologists call the anxiety of unfinished business the Zeigarnik effect. Writing these tasks down tricks your brain into feeling like the loop is closed. Next, do a one-problem journal entry. Write out a single unsolved dilemma from your day without trying to solve it. Outlining the problem simply primes your subconscious to quietly process it while you sleep. Finish the checklist by logging what you're grateful for and recording exactly one daily win, one single thing that moved you forward today. Ending your day focused on forward momentum rather than perfect completion changes your internal language. Over time, your brain associates effort with reward, training your reward system to crave delayed gratification. Aggressively clearing out these psychological open loops guarantees a fresh mental slate. This is your ultimate defense mechanism to ensure you get the deep, neurogenesis-triggering sleep where your brain actually grows. Look at this fully constructed schedule. You now hold a tangible, hour-by-hour roadmap designed for peak mental endurance. Looking at over a dozen new habits all at once is overwhelming. Do not try to implement all of this tomorrow morning. Instead, pick exactly 3 simple steps to start with this week. Try the mental load dump before bed, take a 20-minute nap in the afternoon, and commit to one strict 90-minute digital fast work block. True intellectual stamina comes from taking small, compounding steps to align your daily actions with your biology. To help you get started, check the description below to download a printable blank template of this exact roadmap.